All right, we got a 50-51. It's got sort of a weird sound to it, but we're gonna dig it just because we dug a lot of targets off of this site. And some of them have turned out to be pretty good, even sounding sort of weird. So let's see what this one tells us. $65, $69 now. It's jumped up. It's right there. It's right in there. Let's see if we can. Oh, if we just didn't hit it. And guys, we got us another pewter button. Look at there. Oh, wow. And the only reason why I knew that this was going to be something good is because the last one came up just like this. And it's pewter. So once again, we got a pewter button. And this site, I've really worked very, very well. And to find another button in here, it's just crazy. Crazy. But there you go, y'all see it. Pewter button right out of the hole. Let's make sure let's get this. We got an 86 here. I'm hoping it's not iron. It doesn't sound like iron. So maybe it's a good target. Maybe it's a good one. I sure like the way this dirt looks versus that other dirt back there. Let's see what we get here. See if we got it out. 87 on top of the ground. Come on, guys. Let's get something good here. We got something? Do we got a button? Oh, yes. It's not a button. It's not a button, guys. Oh, yeah. I know what this is. And you guys are going to know what it is, too. It's a seated, guys. It's a seated Liberty. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Check that out. There she is in all of her glory. Right there. The first coin that I've dug off of this site. 1876 seated. 1876 seated Liberty. That is outstanding, and y'all just watch me dig it. So this site is giving up some great stuff, but yeah, I'll take it. I haven't dug one since last year, so this is the first seated of this year. 1876 seated Liberty. Wow. And y'all saw it. It was coming in at 86, 87 on the XP Deus II. I'm using 40 kilohertz, or almost 40 kilohertz, 37, I think, either 37 or 39. But there it is, a seated Liberty. Can't believe that. Okay, y'all saw it. Straight off the camp. GoPro stop recording. Okay, can y'all hear me now, guys? Give me a somebody tell me yes, no, yes. No sound still? Okay, good. Good. Sorry about that. And I don't know why it switched up on me. Good. All right. So real quick, we are going to be talking about what the clip that you guys just saw, a couple of those clips, and what was in those clips, and so on. So this should be an interesting conversation. So that's going to be the main focus of what we're talking about tonight. Is going to be what I was actually using with the XP Deus II on two hunted out sites that I had been to before using multi-frequency. And that's going to be the main focus tonight. Real quick, let's give some shout outs to some people. Scott Spear, glad to have you in. Daniel Shields, Tony Maston, thank you guys. Michael, Chris, Make It Work, Charlie Schimmel, Bobby Short, TN Sharpshooter, as always, that's my man. Tarnished Charm, Ohio Fred, Mac on the LTE, Surfside Dan, trying to get everybody. Chris, I said, make it work. Ohio Fred, I said, Five, sniff it out. Glad to have you in here. Charlie Schimmel. Trying not to miss anybody. If I did, I apologize. Did I get everybody? I think I did. I'm just going back and looking through the comments. So again, I've had a fun week. I've been off all week, so I've been able to do some metal detecting, and it's been great. I don't know if any of you have seen the last couple of videos that I put up, but you should be able to see some very interesting things that I did this week. I did go to Charleston on Wednesday, and unfortunately, the place was really manicured, and I didn't want to mess up anybody's yard. So I am going back though because they have a basement in this house, and supposedly that's where the Civil War soldiers were when they were shelling this place to death. And these guys were hiding out in the basement. The basement has a brick floor, so they're going to tear up that brick floor. And once they do, they're going to call me back in to go back in and actually metal detect that spot. But I did get out on Monday and Tuesday. So the videos that you're seeing up on YouTube right now are the ones from Monday and Tuesday. So again, check those videos out if you haven't. I just showed you two clips from them as well. So they're really cool, really good videos. And I did put in a lot of time and effort into them. So hopefully you guys will watch them. And I appreciate it. Yeah, Scott, we're glad to have you in here. So we are going to be talking about what I was using in these last two videos. So Sharpshooter is on here, and Sharpshooter was the one that sort of turned me on to this. He said, "Hey Brian," he said, "you need to go and you need to try a single frequency on these sites that you're getting ready to go to." And he knew that I had hunted them pretty extensively, especially the first one that I hunted on Monday. And he gave me these settings. So real quick, I want to show y'all what I was using. So on these hunted out sites, I was using the mono program, and I was using a frequency of 37.4. My discrimination I had really low at 6.3. I had my silencer set at 0, my sensitivity at 90, my reactivity at 4, my iron volume at 2, my audio response at 4, and I was using square audio and pitch tone. So those were the settings that I was using in both of the videos that you see on YouTube right now, and they yielded great results. So, a lot of people have been saying single frequency, that doesn't have a place anymore, that multi-frequency has, basically taken over. And that's true to a certain extent. But when you've already hunted a place just over and over and over again, then it's always good to switch it up. And that's what I found out on these hunts was switching up to something that I haven't really tried and it really paid huge dividends. Now, that first site, Calabash and I had been to, we've been going to that site for 4 years now. And Surfside Dan's on here too. He can attest to this. He and I went 3 weeks ago, and all we dug was one button and a keyhole cover off of this site. And yes, those settings could be applied to the WS6 Master. Ohio Fred was just asking me that. But we dug one button and a keyhole cover, and that was it. And he knows how hard that site had been hunted. He was using the Manicore, and I was using the Deus II. And I went back the other day and I adjusted some of the settings that Sharpshooter had told me. And these are the settings that you're seeing on the screen right now. These were the settings that I used when I went back into that site, and they yielded really good results. I dug 4 buttons on a site that had just been obliterated, pummeled, everything. And to dig 4 buttons is just outstanding. Now, I will say this, these buttons were pewter buttons, so they rang up a little bit different. They rang up a little bit low, and that was, yes. Yeah, and Surfside Dan's on here, and y'all see his comment. Surfside Dan says, I can't believe you dug 4 buttons after we were there. And let me tell you, Surfside Dan is an experienced detectorist, and he knows a lot about machines, and he knows how to detect. And he can tell you this site had just been pummeled. And I went back in there with these settings, and I was able to pull some of these targets. So the main gist of what I really want to, focus on is that, we sometimes think that a site has been hunted out because we've used these multi-frequency machines. But maybe, just maybe, single frequency, again, has a place. And you need to go back to some of these sites and try some of these single frequency settings, and try some different programs because the Deus II is such a powerful machine, and we can adjust that machine to whatever we're looking for in a lot of cases. So you can actually go back in, you could try different programs, but you can also try single frequency. Scott brings up, why is the single frequency on the Deus II so much better than the Deus I detector? Very good question, Scott. I'm sure those sites have been hunted by the Deus I, right? And Scott's exactly right. Calabash and I went into that site that I hunted on Monday with Deus I high frequency coils. Now, one thing that we did not do, which, we could have, but we were running in 28 kilohertz for most of those hunts with the high frequency coils. The other thing that I do know, and this seems to be something that has been put out there, is that the Deus II has a little more power going into that coil. And I think that that's playing a role into the mono programs or the single frequency programs as well. So when you use single frequency, I think you're getting more power. I really do. And I do believe that the Deus II single frequencies are more powerful than the original Deus I. And I think they've got a quicker recovery, quicker response, and all of those things, because I know how hard Calabash and I hunted that spot. And for us to miss 4 buttons is just unbelievable. We dug over 100 buttons off of this one spot. Yes. And to go back in with this and then pull these targets I was just dumbfounded. And I know that the Deus II has played a big role in that actually happening. The other thing is what Sharpshooter just said, is that the single frequency machine handled EMI a lot better. So when we got down to some of these areas on this property, if we got real close to the road, the EMI was really bad. And I think Calabash and I might have been even blinded in some cases because of the EMI that was in that area. And I think the Deus II actually handled the EMI a little bit better. So I do believe the Deus II is doing something a lot different than what the Deus One did in a single frequency. So, Scott, I hope that answers your question, but that's what I think. And that's what I've seen. I mean, I've seen results out of it that, I didn't see with my Deus One. And I think that that played a huge role into this actually, reaping benefits for me. And Sharpshooter, again, all kudos to Sharpshooter. He's the one who put me on this, and it's worked out really good. And I think the other reason why I meshed with it so well was because it did remind me of my Deus One, and I think I just meshed with it. I knew what I was doing all over again because I felt like I was using my Deus One again, and I think that was just a natural thing for me when I did flip over to the single frequency and I did start using that higher frequency. And I think that plays a huge role into it too, because I think it unmasks a little better. The other thing that I did was that you noticed I was running my silencer at 0. Yes, Surfside Dan, you're in good shape if you got the Deus II. Um, so I think that running that higher frequency helped unmask a little better. And running it close to 40, I think I ran it at 39 at one point, but then I dropped down to 37.4. I ran the silencer at 0. And I honestly believe that running that silencer at 0 really helps in a lot of these situations. Now, you may dig some more iron, but if you've already hunted a site out, then what the heck? I mean, it's not going to matter. Run that silencer down to 0 and go out there and hunt it. And maybe you do dig a few pieces of iron, but I'll take a few pieces of iron for a really good find any day. So, yeah, the single frequency, running it in those settings, and I'll put those back up for you guys again in case anybody wants to look at those. But running that single frequency like that, I think really worked very well. And I think running it at the higher frequency worked really, really well as well. So, for whatever that's worth, you guys can try it. Again, my soil is very mild, so I can get away with stuff like this. If you have tough soil or you have soil that is, highly mineralized, it might not work as well for you. But it's worth a shot at least to try it and see what happens. And I think you'll find that you're going to see some good results from it, especially on a site that you have really hunted hard. And that's where I think single frequency still has a place in some of these instances. I had a guy leave me a comment the other day and said that he went out with his single frequency machine after seeing what I did, and he tried it and adjusted his settings and things on this machine, and he had some good results as well. So, um, you know, what do you guys think? I mean, how do you guys feel about what I've just shown? Yeah, the fast 40. And, the thing was, Michael's on here too. Michael brought up that point, fast 40. Now, remember though, if you're in fast 40, you're in multi frequency. So, multi frequency definitely is really good at unmasking. But again, in single frequency at that higher kilohertz, and supposedly the more power that you're getting in the coil, I think you see some good results out of it. So just try it. Like I said, I didn't believe it until I did it, and once I did it, I realized that hey, this is actually working for me. And any of you that do decide to try it, I would really love to hear what you found out setting it up using these settings and so on. But yeah, I was amazed. I was really amazed, and Sharpshooter definitely convinced me right off the bat, and he knows this too. I've had this conversation with him, and he convinced me right off the bat that this thing works, and it does perform very, very well. Chris says, "Do you have to? No, you can. Whatever works for you. Try that audio and try those different tones. Sharpshooter actually suggested, I believe, and he's on here, but he can say, I think he suggested 5 tones for me, but I'm so familiar with pitch that I went to pitch, and it performed excellent for me. So yeah, you could probably change that up too, Chris. But just understand that the Deus 2 is not the Deus 1. And anybody that thinks that is sadly mistaken. It's built on the Deus 1 platform, these single frequencies are, but it's doing something else too. It's just more powerful. That's the only thing I can think of to say. So yes, definitely think about that. Sharpshooter says, don't be afraid. Yes. And Sharpshooter's exactly right. Don't be afraid to cross check some of these targets. You can use fast and you can use general to swing back over them. I did this in a few cases, and I was still able to hit the targets. Uh, but I don't know. It seems like that sounded better. Let me just put it that way, using the single frequency. So for whatever that's worth. Yeah, sharpshooter is pretty slick, definitely. And I'm a big fan of sharpshooter. And he and I have been in conversations quite often over the last, well, really over the last year or so, but even more so now. So sharpshooter definitely has turned me on to some things. Jim says, hi, everyone. Just snapped a photo. Thank you. Thank you. Definitely give them a shout or try them out and give them a shot and let me know how they do for you. It may work great for you. It may not. I'm just saying it did work for me. Sharpshooter suggested it. And I was really pleased with my results, which if you saw the beginning of the video, you'll understand why I was pleased. So yes. Finders Keeper says, I need to get the Deus 2 back out in the field. Been primarily using the Manicore the last couple of months. Yeah, and I think Surfside Dan saw some of that the other day when he and I were together, and he had the Manicore and I had the Deus 2. And he can attest to this too. That Deus 2 in iron it's just something special, really is. Yes, Tian's laid. Yes, he has, and we've talked through a lot of those videos as well. But yes, his videos are awesome. Scott, thank you so much for the super chat or super thanks. I can't tell which one it is, but yes. Joe in Memphis, thank you, Joe. Hit that like button for a limited time. It's free. Yeah, we're handing out free information here. And of course, Sharpshooter has been a tester for Mind Lab. He's been a tester for XP. So he and I talk pretty frequently now. And he's given me some great advice on some things, and I really appreciate him. And I can't say enough good things about Sharpshooter because he definitely knows what he's talking about for sure. And he helped me get a 1876 seated Liberty coin the other day off of a site that I had really hunted hard, but I hope to be back. Yes, so definitely if you are not subscribed to Sharpshooter's channel, check him out because he's a great guy and he's got a lot of information on there that can help you in a lot of instances. So Scott says that is great news. Yes, glad to hear that. Sharpshooter left a thing up here too. He says the update is progressing. By the way, they're getting closer with it. Which let's talk about that for a minute. So if any of you have any questions, again, you can either ask me or you can ask Sharpshooter on his channel, and I'll be glad to help you out with those things on what I've been using and what we've been trying on some of these hunted out sites. But both of us will be glad to help in any way we can. So definitely check him out. And again, if you got any questions, I'm always here, always available. Feel free to ask. And one more time on the program, 37.4 discrimination, 6.3 is a little low, but and again, you might dig a little more iron, but it's well worth it because what you might find could be something really outstanding. So try those settings out, and I hope that helps somebody. And again, thank you, Sharpshooter, for helping me with that program. So Sharpshooter brought up the update. It's still a work in progress. He says we are getting closer. So I'm going to thank you, Daniel, so much, buddy. I really appreciate that. But Sharpshooter says we are getting really closer to actually getting this update in our hands. Of course, I think all of these things that we just talked about, I believe all of those things are going to be improved with this update. And I just can't wait. And I know Sharpshooter is chomping at the bit to tell people about it. And I can't wait to tell people about it. I just want to see this in our hands and us actually using it and getting some really good results. One of the things that I've heard a lot of people say is they believe the Manicore is going to be better on the beach, and I've said that a few times. But who knows what's going to happen with this update? I think that the XP Deus II is primed and ready to just explode. Yeah, I really do. I really believe that. Thank you, Michael, so much. I appreciate that. So again, I think that we're headed that way. Arthur Schwartz says, I thought Fast 40 was a custom mono program, which it is. And I will say this, you'll notice that I actually lowered my frequency a little bit below 40, but it's still not set up the same way that I had it set up. If you go and check it, Arthur. So check yours out and you'll see. Yes, Stinkcast Cat is exactly right. All the settings can be confusing, but if you learn that machine, I'm telling you, XP has done an unbelievable job because they give us so many options that we can go back into different sites, hunted out sites, and we can select so many different ways to hunt a site. And I think that's where a lot of people don't understand that they're giving you a detector that is a bunch of different detectors all rolled into one. And that's the thing with XP. And it just gives you so many opportunities and so many ways that you can go back in and hunt a site. And you might find something that you missed using other settings. So, but Stink-Ass Cat, I would actually tell you this, learn the machine, look at the manual, listen to, people that know, and try to learn some of those settings so you can go back and find some really cool things, because you really can with this machine, because this machine gives you so many options. It's so versatile. And that's why, to me, it's one of the best machines on the market. Surfside Dan said he's looking forward to the update. Yes, beach hunters are going to like the update, like Sharpshooter said. I believe that 100%. Jim Active says, I have only one beef with the Deus II. The full tones are not what they are on the Deus I. That one fix would be awesome for hot program guys from the Deus I. And you're right. That hot program is going to be very similar on the Deus II. Once they get that full tones in place, I think that's going to be huge for a lot of people. I used full tones. That's what I cut my teeth on. So I'm really hoping that Full Tones gets that full update and we get back to what we were familiar with when we were using the Deus I. So again, I think it's going to be awesome. Yes, T and Sharpshooter just said, please feel free to ask questions because we're here to help. That's what this channel is about. That's what Calabash and I started. And we're here to help and try to give information and try to help people, get better with these machines. And that's mainly what we're trying to do. So again, Sharpshooter and I both, Michael on here too, excellent source. But all of us are here to help as much as we can and just basically tell you, hey, this is what we're seeing out in the field. And we're trying to bring the most information that we can possibly do for you guys. So again, I appreciate you guys. Finders Keeper says, I love how quiet the XP is, not even a peep from them. They just know their stuff works. That's true. They don't have to say much. And a lot of this was brought out, when all these other machines were released. XP they just keep on going. So they know what they're doing. Trust me. And that's a good thing. Joe in Memphis says, so disc at 6.3 and no notch, looking for repeatable tones. Yes, Joe, that's exactly right. So and and like I said, 6.3 is pretty low. You could even run it a little bit lower if you really want to open the machine up. I'm used to running a machine opened up. So yeah, I'm going to dig some iron. If you watch my video, you're going to see that I dug some iron on a couple of those digs. But 6.3 really works well for me. So I like 6.3. You're certainly welcome. Certainly welcome. We appreciate you and glad you're on board. Jim Active, he says there will be a lot less falsing, possibly I'm assuming you're talking about with the update. Possibly, yes, there could be less falsing. Sharpshooter says, for all practical purposes, WS6 options will mirror remote control options. And we have talked about that. The WS6, which I'm a big fan of, especially for the beach, is going to be very similar with the remote. All the things are the same, except it doesn't have an external speaker, and it doesn't have the XY screen. But other than that, most everything else is the same. I can't think of anything else. Sharpshooter might be able to. And right, Michael on here knows the Deus II as well. And Michael's one of our moderators on here, and we appreciate Michael so much. Michael and I talk quite frequently as well. Finders Keeper says, got to dig iron these days to be successful. Sure. And you'll even hear me say in one of my videos, I'm going to dig this. It's probably iron, but where I'm at, I can't pass up that signal. And it was a big plantation hoe. And I dug it because it could have been a belt plate for all I knew. And you can't take chances, guessing at a signal. You got to dig it. And we all have been in those situations before. And on my sites, when I hear a good tone, I'm going to dig it. That's just the way it is. If it sounds good, I'm going to dig it. So we're all in this. We're all in this together like that when it comes to targets and sounds. Joe in Memphis, I've been running notch to around 50 to get rid of foil, etc. So I will try this Sunday. Yeah, you could notch out all the way up to 50. That's really not that big of a deal. The thing is, when I'm hunting my sites, most of my sites don't have modern trash on them. They're usually very remote sites, or they're sites that are just clean. And so I don't really dig a lot of aluminum or that kind of stuff. So I would probably dig a 50 signal or a 51 signal, because if you watch the video clip at the beginning of the video of the live stream, those pewter buttons will ring up really low, and some of those pewter buttons could have something really, really nice on them. So yeah, but you can notch out and it'll still work just the same. Finders Keeper says, I got 5-gallon Lowe's buckets of iron. Yes. Also lots of silver to show for it too. And you're right, Finders Keepers. Even if it's falsing, sometimes if you're in the right area, you're going to dig those targets. You can't take that risk of missing something that's really, really good. And hopefully with the update, maybe some of that will be resolved. I don't believe all of it's going to be resolved, but I think some of it will be resolved, if that helps anybody. So Scott asked me, those pewter buttons were ringing up anywhere between 51 and 56 in most cases. And I think some of them even got up as high as 70, somewhere in that range. But most of them they're going to ring up really low. I've actually dug a pewter button that rang up a 37 on the XP Deus II. So those pewter buttons can be all over the place. And if they're crumbling or sort of breaking apart, they could ring up even lower. So, but those pewter buttons, they could be something really outstanding. So again, definitely want to dig, if you're in the right spot, dig those targets because you could be passing up on something really, really good. Best trash settings, and Sharpshooter put me on this too. Um, and I actually have a video up there, I Be Me. You can go check it out. You actually might even want to try the dive program. So if you're dealing with a lot of aluminum, the dive program can help. And go watch that video. But there is a video up that I put up not too long ago about using the dive program in trashy sites with aluminum and modern trash. So check that out, I Be Me. But the dive program can be your friend. Sharpshooter can actually share those settings on here if he's still on here. Joe said this site was used for reenactment. There's a lot of full on the ground that was used for the cannon load. Some of it can be picked up with the coil over a foot off the ground. Yeah. Like I said, I really don't deal with aluminum that much, but this dive program that Sharpshooter put me on definitely can help with some modern aluminum or trash when it comes to that. So yes, Sharpshooter just came on here. Let's put up his thing. He said users of the Deus II be on guard for some higher conductive coins reading 82 plus. ID using full multi-frequency, especially using fast, general, and sensitive programs. So Sharpshooter, answer that question about the aluminum, because I know you and I have done this, and I've got that dive program, how we use that. But tell them the settings that you referred to me for that aluminum trash, because I think that actually helped in a lot of situations. Scott Spears says, I've had pewter buttons in the mid 30s also. Just curious what you were seeing. Yeah, if they're fully intact and they're not sort of crumbling, they will ring up into, they could ring up even close to 60, maybe in the 70s if they're a bigger button. But most of them are going to, the ones that I just dug were all ringing in that 50 range. So they were 54, 56 in that range, Scott, if that helps. Johnny HB says, hello, all just got back from beach detecting in Huntington Beach, California. Way to go. Did you find anything, Johnny HB? That's the next question. So Michael says, got to watch notching too high on an old site with the possibility of pewter buttons. That's right. Yeah, because you can knock those pewter buttons out if you go up, especially if you notch out even 50 and below. So you definitely want to be careful when you're notching and make sure that you're not notching out too much. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up on everybody. Yeah, finders keepers makes sense. Scott dug many old Tombacks at 6'7" with the old 800. Yes, they'll ring up low. I Be Me says thanks. Johnny HB says hello. So finders keepers says some of that old thin colonial silver beeps low too. Dug a few colonial silver cufflinks that beep lower than a pull tab, and that's true too. Even that that seated Liberty, it was ringing up an 87, and I know it was worn. And I think me and Sharpshooter had a conversation about this earlier. Some of that older silver, I've even had some of that older silver even ring up in like an 81, 82, like a half, even some of those half dimes, and even the reals. Some of them can ring up in that low range too. So be careful with that notch, that you don't notch yourself out of something that you're really looking to find. So be careful with it, but notch can help in a lot of situations. I've actually run notch on the beach with pull tabs, even though I know I could be missing a ring. But how many pull tabs am I going to dig up at 61 using beach sensitive? So sometimes I'll just say, I've had enough pull tabs. I'm just going to notch out 61, 61, 60, 59, those three. But you got to be careful. Again, you could be notching yourself out of something really good. So be careful with notch. But let's see what Johnny HB says. Spider pendant with gem in the middle, a silver ring 1.5 feet deep and wet, and a hike punch, a lot of coin. Thanks for asking. Yo, awesome, Johnny HB. That's good. So that Deus II was definitely hitting deep. Sharpshooter said loads of lower conductive trash looking for high conductive coins. And Sharpshooter's right. And I remember this. We notched out from 0 to 80. You can use deep high conductor, dive, fast, general, vary the speed. He says reactivity between 1 to 2.5. For heavier iron, if you got iron, run at 2 or above for reactivity. And I was using the dive program, and I found it to work really good. And I used this actually at dig stock when I was dealing with a lot of can slaw that was out in these fields. And I dug a quarter that was probably 13 inches down using the dive program. The dive program, I don't know if any of you know this or not, but it is deep and it loves high conductive targets. So it's one that I would try in aluminum trash, and it really helps. Johnny B says hole punch. I'm using a 800. So you're using the Equinox, Johnny HB, I'm assuming. And Equinox is a deep machine. I've dug so many deep coins with the Equinox. So again, if you haven't already, you can give a super chat or super thanks to the channel. We do a lot of things. I try to bring as much information as I can. The cameras, this live stream service, all of that stuff costs money. But if you feel the need and you want to, you can give a super chat or super thanks. I would greatly appreciate it. So again, we talked about the Deus II update, which we hope it is coming soon. A lot of you have mentioned that. And I hope that we will have something else as well coming up. Yes, please hit that like button. The like button helps with my algorithm, and it gets me up there where I need to be with YouTube. So I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Send a super chat if it doesn't go through. That's all right. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. Wisco Detect, glad to have you in the house. It's your wife's. Well, you're entitled to miss your wife's birthday. So I appreciate you guys so much. And this is a great group that we have here. We have such a great community. And I watch a lot of other live streams, and I don't know if there's information that's getting put out there like what we're trying to do here. So we're glad to have each and every one of you. All of you guys are awesome, and everybody in here is so knowledgeable. And I appreciate everyone sharing the information and, being here tonight. So a couple other things I wanted to talk about. We're going to be on here till at least 8:30. So we got about 15 minutes that we're going to talk some more. But a couple other things. The Xterra Pro. Some of you may have seen a couple of my videos that I put up on the Xterra. It's an excellent machine. Again, for $269, you just can't beat it. I've used it out on the beach. Now, I've been sort of sidetracked this week because I've been relic hunting, and I probably wouldn't use this machine for relic hunting, but it can be used for relic hunting. It's $269. It's got so many great features. You've got a lightweight detector. You've got, 3 frequencies to select from. You got a backlight. You got the LED light. You got the vibrating handle. You can adjust the tones. You can notch. You can hunt on the beach with it. So again, Xterra for $269, great deal, great bargain. I don't know if any of you have gotten one yet, but if you have, I'd be interested to hear what you think. Like I said last week, I believe it was, the VDI is a little bit shaky on this machine, but the audio is really good on this machine. So even if the VDI is not necessarily 100%, the audio is pretty good on this machine, and it will let you know when you're over a good target. So again, the Xterra Pro, great machine for the money, $269, you can't beat it. There are some issues with headphones, and a lot of people have put up videos with workarounds for the headphones. So I won't get into all of that again, but it is suggested for the ML85 headphones, which they're having a hard time getting those headphones right now, and so you might have to do a workaround. The headphones that come with the Manicore, those work really well with the Manicore, but they'll also work really well with the Xterra. Of course, those are the big, I think they're the 105s or 110s. I can't remember the numbers on them. But anyways, the ones that come with the Manicore, and those work really good with them as well. Let's see what Alabama Digger says here. Glad to have you on board tonight, Alabama Digger. The Deus I has no issue with falses with 0 disc and full tones. The Deus II will false a ton on nails under 6.8. Yes, I need to hear the low iron having to run 5 tones to compensate. Yeah, and Alabama Digger, I'm hoping that this update will address some of that. I won't say it's going to get rid of everything. Um, but again, I was a full tones user too. I don't use full tones right now at all on the Deus II. I run in pitch, and sometimes I get full, but 9 times out of 10, I'm usually okay with pitch, and it helps me even on the multi-frequency programs. I can detect pretty good whether it's iron or not using pitch, but I'm with you 100%. I was a Deus I user as well, and really I could tell iron 2 very well with the Deus I. So I'm hoping that with this update, some of that's going to get addressed, and we'll see some big improvements in the multi-frequency programs, and not getting as much faults on those iron nails. So let's hope that happens. Yes, he said those 105s have an issue with wind noise, but they're comfy. Okay. Yeah, and I've got a pair back there. They're actually Surfside Dan's, but anyway, yeah, they are very comfortable. But when it gets hot, you don't want to be walking around with those 105s on your head. You're going to want something a little bit lighter, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, they get those headphones in, and hopefully that stuff will get taken care of. Yes, Alabama, you're right. Yes, I've noticed the same thing, and I think most of the users of the Deus II would say the same thing. I don't know how many of them you actually use full tones. I know I don't use full tones at all right now, simply for some of the reasons you stated in yours. Surfside Dan says, if they correct the problem with the Deus II, will you go back to full tones or stay with pitch? That's going to be, yeah. I might go back to full tones, Surfside Dan. I really would. I think I will, because I loved full tones to begin with on the Deus I, and I don't know. I'm just going to have to see what happens with the update. So I'm like everybody else. And guys, I don't have the update, but I would like to see being able to go back to the full tones. I really would. So we'll see. Yes, Scott said, great question. Yeah, it is a great question. And yeah, I would love to go back to full tones. But I like pitch. I've gotten so used to it, and I used pitch on the Deus I as well. So yeah, we'll just have to see what happens with this update. It's really going to play a big role. But if they improve full tones, more than likely I would go back to full tones. Definitely with you. Yes. Yes. If the update fix it, right. And that's what I just said. Wisco to Tech says, when I run my silver custom program notch to 80, I dig so much iron, but I can't tell you how much silver I found. I love full tones. Yes, full tones was the way for me for a long time. So again, yeah, again, I'm hoping that this update really takes care of full tones, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right. As we guest pack, glad to have you on board. Glad you're here. It's all right to be late. You can go back and watch the replay, which will be coming up. Some folks may go to full tones and never look back in higher iron sights. Won't say why, not yet anyway. Okay, so sharpshooter's giving you a little hint. Sharpshooter. I'll leave it with sharpshooter, but full tones again. I think if it is improved, it's going to be awesome for all of us, and I would love to go back to it. Definitely, definitely. So yeah, sharpshooter says he's passing out some. He's passing out the tea. He's passing out the dish. So we're glad to have sharpshooter on board tonight too to help with some of those questions. Um, yeah, I know. He's such a tease. That's what I told him the other night. I said, dude, you're such a tease. Thank you. Thank you. Go back and watch. Yes. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and like and subscribe. If you're not a subscriber and you're new on here, please subscribe. That would be great. I'm trying to get to 5,000. We're at 4,100 right now, so we're trying to get to 5,000, and we're working hard and trying to bring you guys information as much as we can. So yes, yeah. He said key word was some. Right. Arthur Schwartz says I like full tones hiking in the woods and clean ground. Definitely. Yeah, full tones is the way to go. And I even like the full tones on the Xterra Pro. I was playing around with it the other day, and I like it a lot. I wish the full tones worked on the XP Deus too, like it does on the Xterra Pro. But we're gonna see. So this update, it can't get here soon enough, and hopefully we're not far away. Yeah, oh, okay. So Jim Active said just entered that mono program in slot 7, now called the hot program that I love so much on the Deus One. Good, Jim. Jim, just let us know how it works for you. And again, hopefully you see the same results that I did, but I think you're going to be impressed with it. Yeah, I'll get there soon. Yeah, and it's been a slow grind, but it's been a lot of fun along the way too. So we're all excited to get that update, and hopefully it will not be far off. So another thing that I wanted to bring up was the new legend. I know most of us in here are Deus 2 people, but there are some people that use the legend, and they've upgraded it. They've added a new coil. They've added a new shaft, added a new arm cuff. They made it lighter. They've updated the software in it, and it's going to be interesting to see what the new legend is like. And then, of course, they've also got a lower end machine, the Simplex Ultra, which is coming. And some people, there are already some videos up from, I think, a couple of people that actually have the machine. But I think they've got a problem with the Xterra Pro, with it being able to hunt the beach and them offering the Ultra. So we'll see how that plays out. And Delic, I believe, did put up a video the other day, or yesterday actually, where she talked about what they're going to do for people who already have the legend and want to get the new shaft and the new arm cuff and that kind of stuff. So again, you can go and you can check that out. I think I've got it. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys and show it to you, what they're actually offering. So let's see here. Hang on one second. I'm going to pull this up for you guys. There it is. All right. So I'm going to show y'all my screen here, and we're going to share this. Okay. So there's some of the new legend stuff, which it just went back. This is what they're saying. If you buy an LG 30 coil, which I can't keep it up there, but if you buy an LG 30 coil, you're going to receive the carbon fiber shaft and the new arm cuff. If you want to buy the new arm cuff and the carbon fiber shaft, you get it at a discounted rate of $40. Those are some of the things they're offering for some of the people that have the legend, for some of the older models. So supposedly these newer models are the ones that they are using or shipping out now. And they're not going to make any of the older ones with the older shaft and all this other thing. So again, these are what they're offering to people that already have a Legend, or if you just bought a Legend. So they're saying up here, current Legend owner not hasn't forgotten you. So that's just a couple of things that I thought I would bring up. The LG30 search coil is a 12x9 coil, which should be good for hunting the beach. So again, we'll see how that plays out. I've actually thought about getting a Legend and just testing it out on the beach, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. So anyway, just thought I would show that. A couple of comments up here. Sharpshooter says WS6 owners who have remote and WSA model headphones should brush up on their navigating the WS6. Definitely, especially with this update coming, they definitely want to be in tune with that WS6. Detector 2 Guns, glad to have you on board, buddy. I still think the XP Deus II. And I don't think you're going to get a lot of arguments from anybody in here. I just have other people that watch my channel that use other machines, and I try to be very respectful to those people as well. If you're using a Legend, that's great. If you're using a Mind Lab, that's great. I'm not that guy that's going to just bash those other machines. They're all good machines, in my opinion. Yes, buy the new Legend coil and you get the new arm cuff and upper carbon. Yes, that's right. And we just showed that. I don't, yeah, I'm with you too, Detector 2 Gun. But I do have the 11 and the 13-inch for my Deus II. Love those coils. They serve different purposes. The 9-inch coil is probably, to me, the best all-around coil for the Deus II, though. So you're exactly right. Xterra Pro, Smacks Mini, they definitely do. You're exactly right. And Detector 2 Gun says, Roger that. Thank you. He says, as a way to go, get a new Mind Lab, in my honest opinion, after the lawsuit filed by Mind Lab. And, you know, I see all that stuff, and I'm sure, you know, these guys are going back and forth at each other. And, but I don't want to be in the middle of it, to be honest with you. Let them have fun. What I can say about all of this is that the more these machines compete against each other, the better it is for every single one of us. So let them fight, let them have fun, let them call each other names, let them do whatever. We're the benefactors of what they're doing because they're having to push themselves to the limits. It's capitalism at its best. Let those companies fight it out. And Darwin's theory, only the strong shall survive. We'll see how it plays out. So again, that's just the way it is. Yes. Yes, you swing a max, right? There's nothing wrong with that at all. You know, if you still got a Garrett AT Max or Garrett AT Pro, those machines are still going to find stuff. And I just got through showing that. We just had a little conversation about single frequencies, how there's still, you know, it can still do a lot of those things that we want. Now, you know, technology has advanced, and there are some machines that are maybe running a little faster, a little better. But if if you're comfortable with that machine and it works great for you, use that machine. That's just the way I am about it. Yes, competition is great for detectorists. You're exactly right. The consumer always wins. That's what capitalism is about, guys. I'm an economics teacher too, by the way, if you guys don't know that. So the consumer always wins. Very good. Like AMD and Intel, exactly. So we're in a great time period where these machines are just pushing themselves to the limits and to the max of the technology that's out there. And the more they do that, the better off we are all going to be. So again, we're going to see what's going to happen. Nothing yet on the new Quest. I actually had a friend of mine over in Europe and was trying to see if anybody had those available over in Europe, but so far no luck. So that's hopefully we'll see one of those soon somewhere here in the United States. yes, it's going to be fun to test drive, and I hope to get my hands on one for sure. Yeah, he said you would hate the D. Yeah, I've seen that D-Tech 15-inch coil. That thing is massive. So yeah, that's a big coil. Yes, would be fun to test drive. Found the 24th Regiment of the Foot cartridge pouch plate with the AT Gold and one of four known to exist. Yeah, I run into people all the time. Even when I was at Dig Stock with the XP group, um, there were still a lot of people out there with AT Pros, AT Maxes, AT Golds. I mean, they're still out there, and people are still finding amazing things with them. You know, I'm like Calabash. I believe in the game of odds. You know, if I can increase my chances just because the machine's running a little faster, a little better, whatever it may be, then I'm going to try to go with that machine. But there's nothing wrong with any of these other machines. They're all great machines. It's, you know, it comes down to the user, the site, all those other things. All those things play a role into it as well. So, you know, get out there and enjoy the hobby, love what you're doing, love the machine that you have, and make the most of it. That's just the way I am about that. Surfside Dan says, with everything going on in the detector world, yes, I know, Surfside Dan, it's going to be great. Hopefully I have another 25, 30 years and I'll be out here detecting with some crazy detector by the time I get to that age. Who knows? The way we're going, who knows what's going to be out there in another 20 years. Is there a silent EMI issue with the Deus 2 and the Manicore and the 900 and 700? EMI can blind, it can blind any machine. Now, the Deus 2 was plagued with this when it was first released, and I believe Calabash showed that. That the EMI, if you got an Equinox near a Deus 2, that it would totally blind that machine to where you couldn't hear anything, couldn't get anything to come up. So I still believe that EMI does play a role. Now, I am going to say this, and this is kudos to MindLab. It seems like the new MindLab machines, the Manicore, the 900 and the 700, I do believe that they are handling EMI a little better than the 800 and the 600 did. So I do know that those machines are handling EMI a lot better. As for the Deus 2, EMI is still an issue in some cases. But again, you've got the option to switch over to the single frequencies, and usually that can knock out a lot of the EMI. But I'm hoping that's going to be another part of this new update, is that they are going to address the EMI a little bit. I don't know how much more or how better they can get with that, but hopefully that's going to be something that will be addressed as well. So yes, Jim Active says there was no multi-frequency. That's right, Jim Active, and single frequency machines definitely can do it. Pigeon Blood Ruby says, I'm going to change the profile of the Manicore handle to the tri-lobular profile with a polymorph moldable glass wrap with self-bonding silicone tape. So I'm assuming you don't like it, Pigeon Blood Ruby, as far as that part goes. So anyway, thank you for the comment. Get two Manicores close to each other, and wow, see, I don't know, because I've got a Manicore right now at Surfside Dan's, but I don't know what'll happen when you get two of them close together. Of course, I don't know that there's not too many places where you're going to find two of them, because they're still having shipping issues. And some people still have not gotten theirs, which is just hard to believe. I was watching New Hampshire Beach Metal Detecting, and he was doing a gold test with his MindLabs powered on a foot away. I think it might neuter the Deus 2 performance a bit, and it could. Some of these machines put out so much power and put out, I'm not an engineer, but those frequencies can sometimes cross each other. You can adjust the Deus 2 by maybe jumping into a single frequency and maybe knocking yourself off of that, but you shouldn't have to do that. So hopefully we're going to see some of that addressed in the update. So Pigeon Blood Ruby says finding silent EMI is not an issue with the mana core. Yeah, the mana core definitely handles EMI really well, and that's one of the strong points of the mana core that I've seen so far as well. So he's exactly right. Yes, he says nothing silent about this. When you put two mana cores together, I don't know. Finders keepers can maybe attest to that, but I don't. I've only got one mana core, so I don't know. I use duct tape and flex it fixes everything, and that might work. It might work. Again, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, or hit the like button. If you haven't hit it, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to check and see where we are at. We still have 40 people in here. I'm trying to get out some more content. I try to, I guess I take a lot of time whenever I do a video. Some people can do them really quick. Some people, it takes them a little bit. Like I edited one today, the one that I put up today, it took me about 2.5, 3 hours. But that's just because I had so much content from the hunt, and I had to go in and edit. And, I try to jazz it up a little bit too for you guys. And that's just one of those things I like to do, and I love making video. Believe it or not, it's fun, it's challenging, and you feel creative with it too in some places. So yeah, I love making video, but it can be time consuming, and if you do it the right way, it definitely takes some time as well. Yes, and they're full length hunts. I now I edit out some or try to speed out or clip out, especially if I've been digging on one target for like 5 minutes. I know you guys don't want to see me just keep digging. So sometimes I'll cut some of those things out. But yeah, we should have way more than 28 likes, and we just gave out a ton of information. I just gave y'all a program to go to a hunted outside. And you would think we would have had more than 28 likes. So yes, but I love doing this. I love coming on here with you guys. I love talking metal detecting talk with you guys, and everyone in here is such a very good group. And like I said, I've watched plenty of live streams. I don't think there's any other live stream that has as many knowledgeable people in a live stream as our live streams do. And I appreciate you guys for that. And again, it's all about sharing information, helping each other out. And I love doing it, so thank you guys for being here. Let's see here. Yes, hit that like button. Let's go to text. Surfside Dan. Yes. Oh man, if y'all have not, I wish I could show you. Surfside Dan has got this incredible titanium scoop, and that thing is so light. Now it's very expensive, but it is the most unbelievable scoop I've ever put my hands on. And he actually let me touch it the other day when I was out with him, and I picked that scoop up, and I was just like, oh man, this thing feels unbelievable. Thank you, Joe. And that's my whole thing. I try to help people, sort of sharing the adventure, sharing the fun, and so on. So definitely thank you guys. I'm sorry for the snafu at the beginning with the with the volume with my mic not on. But I think it turns it off whenever I do my video clips at the beginning. So thank you. I appreciate it, Pigeon Blood Ruby. Thank you. Yeah, he said, Finders Keepers, I'm not watching 45 minutes of a guy digging all that junk. Yeah, that's true. I hate it. I need to have him come clear the floor from my side then. Well, luckily, I've been blessed. I haven't really been on a site that's just loaded with aluminum, other than when I was at Dig Stock. A couple of those fields did have some can slaw in them. So looking forward to the scoop video. I need a new one. Well, maybe Surfside Dan will let me put my hands back on that one that he's got, because that thing is unbelievable. Definitely. So, okay, we're going to sign off. We've been on here an hour and 11 minutes. I appreciate all the donations, the super thanks, the super chats. All of those go to helping me out with cameras, which I'm thinking about buying another camera to use for the live streams. This one does okay, but I'd love it to be a little bit clearer than what it is. So I am trying to get another camera for the live streams just to bring it in a little clearer. And you know, any new equipment that comes out, I love to test things, show things, and bring those things to you guys in videos. And again, thank you guys for those people that donated tonight. And for all of you that were here tonight, I really appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much. We're going to be trying to do these next Friday night. I'm going to carry on. Hopefully, Calabash will be back at some point. He's got some sick family member, but hopefully he'll be back and we'll be doing these things together. And again, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Get out there and hunt, enjoy yourselves. Try that new program out for you guys that had the Deus II. Go out there, find some great things. Let me know what you find. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank y'all again for everything. And you guys are amazing as always. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a blessed and wonderful weekend. And we will see you sometime next week. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one. See you on the next adventure.